Hey everyone, welcome back. In our last video, we left Naja and Ao Bing at their most vulnerable, their bodies destroyed by the heavenly lightning with only their souls preserved by Tai Yi Zhenhem. This is part 2, where alliances shatter, new tragedies unfold, and our heroes are pushed to their absolute limits. Picking up right where we left off, Tai Yi Zhenren begins the difficult task of reconstructing their bodies. But chaos waits for no one.
Believing Ao Bing is dead, the enraged Dragon Clan, led by Ao Guang, launches a full-scale assault on Chentong Pass to avenge their prince. Ao Bing, whose own body is not yet fully restored, rushes to defend Neja.
Just as Ao Bing's spirit begins to fade, his father, Ao Guang, senses his distress from leagues away. The Dragon King arrives in a flash, catching his disintegrating son. Watching Ao Bing dissolve into a mere soul is the final straw for the heartbroken father. To save him, Ao Bing's soul has to take temporary refuge inside Naja's body. Now they face an impossible deadline. Naja must travel to the sacred Yuxu Palace, pass a series of divine trials within 7 days, and win the Jade Nectar, the only treasure that can forge a new body for Ao Bing. To ensure their compliance, Ao Guang lays siege to Chentong Pass, issuing a chilling ultimatum. If my son dies, I will make sure not a single soul in Chentong Pass is left alive. The situation at Chentong Pass is tense. Shen Gongbao, now its reluctant guardian, enforces a strict lockdown, so strict that he won't even permit the townspeople to leave to buy medicine. And it's here his own tragic story begins to unravel. His younger brother, Shen Gongbao, an innocent leopard demon who has just succeeded in taking human form, arrives full of hope. Beaming with pride, he asks Shen Gongbao what heroic task he's performing now. Faced with his brother's pure admiration, Shen Gongbao is struck with shame. He can't bring himself to answer. Seeing his predicament, Li Jing steps in to cover for him, telling the young demon that his brother is a hero, helping to guard the people of Chentong Pass. Later, Li Jing tells him, "A good role model can change his life," a statement that now carries immense weight, and for a moment, Shen Gongbao's rigid stance begins to waver. He asks Li Jing for a list of needed medicines, intending to go and purchase them himself. But this world is relentlessly cruel. After narrowly passing the first trial, which ends with the marmot demons being subdued by the demon hunters, Naja and Ao Bing are sent to Feitian Waterfall for their second task, to capture Shen Gongbao, Shen Gongbao's father. There, they find him not as a villain, but as a hopeful teacher, patiently guiding young demons in attaining human form, so they too might one day be accepted by the heavenly court. When Naja arrives, Shen Gongbao naturally fights back to protect his people. But the moment he sees the official demon hunters from Chanjiao, the very sect Shen Gongbao serves, he stops his resistance. In a moment of tragic misjudgment, he tells his clan that these are good people who will lead them to the righteous path. Just then, Shen Gongbao returns. Seeing his people being captured, he flies into a rage and attacks the hunters. But they show no mercy, retaliating with lethal force. It is only then, watching the hunters try to kill his son, that Shen Gongbao realizes the horrifying truth. He rushes to shield Xiaobao, but Lu Tong, the dear disciple of Wuliang Shengwang, fires a single arrow that pierces them both. Pinned and immobilized, he can only use his last strength to urge his son, "Run." With his last breath, the fatally wounded Xiaobao stumbles back to Shen Gongbao, tells him the twisted truth that Naja brought the demon hunters who killed their family, and dies in his arms. This is Shen Gongbao's breaking point. His grief turns into pure, unadulterated rage. Meanwhile, back at the trials, devastating news arrives. Chentong Pass has been annihilated. Wuliang Shengwang and his disciple immediately blame the Dragon King. Naja is consumed by rage. Believing he's been betrayed by Ao Bing and his entire clan, he makes a furious decision. He will still save Ao Bing, not out of friendship, but to repay the life debt he owes him. Once the slate is clean, he'll be free to seek his revenge. Fueled by this cold fury, he tells Ao Bing to stand aside and face the third trial alone. He unleashes the demon pill's power, not to protect, but to destroy, and obliterates the stone golem. After accepting the victor's ritual from Wuliang Shengwang, he goes to the divine treasury and retrieves the Jade Nectar. He coldly restores Ao Bing's physical body, fulfilling his end of the bargain. With his debt repaid, he turns to the friend he just saved and declares their bond broken, shouting the devastating words, "Next time we meet, we are enemies, not friends." He then flies off, intent on killing the Dragon King.
But this is all part of a much larger, more sinister deception. When Wu Liang confronts Ao Guang, the Dragon King mistakenly believes his theft of the Spirit Pearl has been exposed and confesses. But the Wu Liang isn't there for that. The deception escalates into open conflict as the Wu Liang moves to imprison the entire East Sea Dragon Palace within his powerful heavenly caudal. As Ao Guang rushes to stop him, he's intercepted by the vengeful Neja. Instead of facing the true villain, Ao Guang is now locked in a furious battle with his son's only friend. Blinded by rage, Neja overpowers the Dragon King and throws him into the heavenly caudal. It's only then, trapped inside the artifact, that Ao Guang discovers the horrifying truth. His own siblings, the other 3 Dragon Kings, have betrayed him. Meanwhile, still lost in his grief, Neja is stunned to see his parents have returned, alive and well. In that moment of confusion, a desperate voice cuts through the chaos. It's Ao Bing, shouting, "It wasn't my father who destroyed Chentong Pass." Ao Bing's desperate cry confirms the truth for everyone. The real villain is Wu Liang. This is a truth Shen Gongbao had already pieced together. By examining the fatal wound on his brother's body, he had recognized the unique arrowhead from Lu Tung, the Wu Liang's disciple, and understood the entire sinister plot. Wu Liang planned to eradicate the demons, destroy Chentong Pass, and frame the Dragon Clan for it all. To achieve this, he allied with Ao Guang's own siblings, the other 3 Dragon Kings, who betrayed their brother for a false promise of freedom. It was the murder of his family that finally flipped Shen Gongbao's allegiance. Making his choice, he secretly rescued Li Jing and his wife. His conscience now clear, he turns to fight, standing alone against the 3 traitorous Dragon Kings. Learning the truth, Ao Bing furiously attacks Wu Liang, but is stopped dead in his tracks by a vicious, heart-piercing curse. When Neja rushes to help, he too is ensnared. It's a trap. The Wu Liang reveals he knew Neja was the demon pill all along and had secretly placed the curse on him during the victor's ritual. Paralyzed for 6 hours, any movement will cause their bodies to be torn into shreds. With the 2 heroes immobilized, they, along with Li Jing and his wife, are all thrown into the heavenly caudal. Inside, the horror is absolute. Everyone thrown in is destined to be refined into an elixir. But the Wu Liang has made a critical error. He realizes the caudal's 3 samadhi fire, instead of killing Neja, is the perfect element to complete his demon pill body. Unable to burn him, the Wu Liang resorts to blackmail, threatening Neja's parents to force him to take poison. In a final act of defiance, Neja's mother, Lady Yin, snatches the poison and throws it away. Her strength spent, she is the first to be consumed by the flames, refined into an elixir before their eyes. Witnessing this shatters something inside Neja. With a heart-wrenching scream, he defies the curse and forcibly moves. His body is instantly ripped into countless pieces, but the sacred flames of the caudal immediately swarm the fragments, reforging him. He is reborn, complete, in his ultimate form. He walks calmly to the still paralyzed Ao Bing, takes his hand, breaking his curse, and says with cold determination, "Help me break this caudal." At the same time, Ao Guang makes his own stand. He breaks the chains on the sea-calming pillar, freeing the thousands of sea monsters imprisoned beneath the palace. Together, all the outcasts, Neja, Ao Bing, Ao Guang, and the sea monsters, rise up. They burst from the caudal, and the supposed forces of darkness wage war against the hypocritical forces of light. The final battle is a storm of fire and ice. Neja and Ao Bing, now fighting as one, unleash their full power. Faced with their combined might, Wu Liang is utterly overwhelmed and forced to flee in disgrace.
In the end, Neja wants to change the world with Ao Bing by his side, and the choice falls to Ao Bing. He is torn between his duty to his father and his bond with his only friend. For a moment, it seems he would choose to walk away, bound by the weight of his past. But then he stops. He realizes that true peace for his people cannot be won by retreating. A new world must be forged. In a final, definitive choice, he turns back and stands shoulder to shoulder with Neja. No longer pawns in a celestial game and no longer walking separate paths, the two friends face the future together, ready to change the world. Now that they stand united, what kind of world do you think Neja and Aobing will create? And what new challenges will they face together? Let me know in the comments below.